Kratom. Now, all are used for the same reason, to alleviate pain. All are currently legal to buy in North Carolina. However, the FDA is comparing one of those products to LSD, marijuana, and heroin.
So is it an addictive substance or an herbal remedy? News Channel 12's Lauren Arnott explores both sides of the debate.
Families are being ruined.
What would you call a drug addict? Well, if they were being honest, they'd say mom, my brother.
The opioid epidemic in America is getting worse.
This scourge of drug addiction in America will stop.
According to the National Institute on Drug Abuse, every day more than 130 people in the United States die from opioid overdoses.
We're looking for a medicine that can stop the pain without the addiction.
But what if an herbal-based medicine already exists?
I think it is definitely one of the tools that are out there to help people with this epidemic.
He's talking about Kratom. Christopher Hansen is the co-owner of 3 K-Spot dispensaries, owner of the Smoking Dragon, and co-owner of the Dragonista. All locations provide alternative and holistic health services. They also carry Mitragyna speciosa, commonly known as Kratom.
It is said that when you take Kratom in small amounts, that you get more energy and more uplifting mood enhancement. And then when you take it in larger doses, and I'm not talking an extraordinary amount, maybe around 3-4 grams, you get more of the sedative aspects.
According to the National Institute on Drug Abuse, Kratom is a tropical tree native to Southeast Asia with leaves that contain psychoactive opioid compounds. The tree's bitter leaves are consumed for mood-uplifting effects and pain relief as an aphrodisiac. Supporters of Kratom have also taken the medicinal plant to help with drug addiction and PTSD. But if it's so wonderful, why have 6 states already banned it?
Kratom has shown many times to have some really good health benefits in the studies that I've seen and what I've done on my research. The problem with that is there is no ingredient list, and it has not been certified, and that's where the concern comes in.
In 2016, North Carolina State Senator Tom McInnes filed Senate Bill 830. His goal, to have Kratom added to the controlled Schedule I substance list.
I believe this is the potential of the next greatest epidemic.
The bill never made it out of committee.
When he first came out about it, he targeted a local vendor, Imperial Kratom, out of Charlotte. And I had a nice long conversation with the owner. And Senator McInnes, believe it or not, and this is according to her conversation, he thought it was heroin. He thought Kratom was just like heroin. You snort it, you shoot it up, and he was completely wrong. And he admitted to that to her.
2 years later, I reached out to Senator McInnes. He turned down a Skype interview but sent this statement, reading in part, "In light of the FDA's announcement and the Department of Health and Human Services recommendation, I do believe that Kratom should be on the controlled substance list. I remain committed to addressing the opioid epidemic as well as habit-forming substances that are detrimental to the health, safety, and welfare of the state of North Carolina's citizens." At the end of 2018, FDA Commissioner Scott Gottlieb issued a number of warnings about the serious risks associated with Kratom.
Is the biggest concern from a law enforcement standpoint the fact that this can be spliced and cut with other substances?
My concern is exactly that. Not that it can be once it gets to our area and then dispensed, but it is before it gets to our area as well. That's one of the reasons that we had the emergence of fentanyl. Is it got to a point where just heroin in itself wasn't strong enough.
According to the latest death statistics from the FDA, 44 people have died from drug overdoses connected to Kratom. However, 43 of those people also had other illicit drugs in their system at the time of their death.
With Kratom, a lot of folks use it to take the edge off. And then some people are seeking a higher feel from it, trying to match their former drug use. And so, unfortunately, in those cases, which they call it polydrug use, people are finding these things to cut it and put into it.
With all this uncertainty, one thing is clear. More research is needed on Kratom.
As far as a law enforcement officer, for me, I'll enforce the laws as they're given to me, equally and fairly. I don't take a side on an item as to whether it's harmful or not unless I've seen the harmful effects of it year after year and have plenty of data to prove it on my personal opinions.
We need to look at the science. We need to not make knee-jerk reactions, and we need to actually give this a chance.